Hello and welcome to this Lego City theme park series. Now, what we are doing today is we have basically started to connect the dots of all of the different lands. There has been a little bit of a hiccup because, well, this thing has been placed and I've just spent a long time sorting out all the Star Wars stuff. That was the videos previous to this, and like its own mini series. And I think this is going to be much of the same, but it's all going to be to do with the superhero stuff, and then see which way it goes, because it's all about making displays for 2026. So, with that being said, let's get to it. So it might sound everything has been on the move recently, but not so much, because the Winter Village stuff has just gone downstairs for a Christmas display, and I had the opportunity of pulling the Winter Village stuff out to put the modulars in a different place. So they're now going to be set there for at least the next year or so. So they are just over there, and we will be messing around with some roads and paths and connecting the dots on that, because I think that actually might be our entrance into the park now. So we might have the top bit as the entrance and then wrap it around as the exit. So I can try and do something with that, because that's exactly what it looks like at all of the Universal parks. What has had an effect is that monstrosity behind me. So this big thing has been added, and then that had a knock-on effect of lots of different bits and pieces, basically moving stuff from the floor up, and the stuff that was up moving it onto the floor. So it's not travelled far, but we are in the process, look, of starting to put all the paths in. And what will happen once I have built this live build area, which I think might be a Christmas special, because that's going to be coming up sooner rather than later in the year, with regards to swapping just one or two tables around to give me enough space for next year to actually have space to do these live streams, hence why that's back where it is. And I've got stuff on the go ready with the laptop instruction booklet. It's just tight. It's a big table, but it just takes up a lot of space to do, and I want to be able to build up in here. But we've achieved all the Star Wars stuff over multiple parts, and obviously all of the little dioramas and things at the back will be added to, with pieces and everything, very, very shortly, with the paths and stuff. So that's going to be happening before Christmas as well. Underneath is where things have tweaked a little bit, because to make space for a huge diorama section up here, which we'll get to in a minute. So underneath here, we have our horror section. So the horror section is actually now finally looking half decent. We've got the carousel and the Harry Potter track to make that look nice and spooky. We've got the haunted house, we've got the Stranger Things thing, and then of course, if there is going to be another Stranger Things set next year, that can go just there, and then I can start connecting all the paths. We are then going to have a bit of a medieval sort of display over sort of 6 base plates in the middle. So the grey base plates is decided, well, undecided what colour that we're going to go for, and then it wraps round, which just needs a bit of TLC into the Lord of the Rings and Disney stuff. So all of that will be tile pathed and everything all at the same time, as I'll start to path it when that bit gets tidy, because that's just a little bit of a mess. Star Wars has been covered, that's been covered. Over here has not changed for months and months and months. This is going to be our sort of watery section with the boat, and then we've got the Ninjago backdrop going across the back, which is what this double base plate is going to be, and then that will allow us then to have a nice Ninjago sort of land like it is, with its own roller coasters and everything built in, because don't forget, this is one big theme park. So the only thing that is missing is we've got the entrance as you start coming in, which is just obviously the bigger buildings, but we don't actually have like a city area. So Lego has a Lego City section where they've got all the police stations and all that kind of thing. You've got an actual city layout within all of the theme parks with how you walk around, where you go through sort of New York and all of the others in Florida and all that kind of thing, and they're big sections. You've got the road as a proper road with the cars, and you can make it almost like a city, but purpose built for people to take photos, sit on it and do that kind of thing. And that is where we're at with this. So that is the plan, probably over the next multiple uploads. So we're just going to kind of get bearings with regards to what we're going to try and achieve today. Now, there are bits and pieces to fix, so if you have been following bits, I broke the loop coaster with this, so I'm blaming you for that, because you fell off when I was doing stuff. It landed right on top just here, and then that all went a little bit pickledy and messy. So I think what I might be doing is, in the next few lives, actually repairing bits and pieces that will link into this project, and then I think I'm just going to go back to the Ninjago stuff and just hope for the best that it is all there. I am in the second booklet already, so potentially, if I can just torpedo through this, then we'll go. All depends on timing. All depends on timing. We will be tidying some little bits and pieces up off camera, so things will just disappear, like the Star Wars box, for example, which is just ready for a comparison filming, and then all of a sudden that corner becomes free, and then all the stuff on the floor can then obviously then get put back. But we've got a Ghostbuster Firehouse to think of. We have got this to think of. We have got some of these buildings. Do they get spread out? Do we keep the track where it is, or do we just get the track gone completely? Do I try and connect this up with the Jurassic Park, and this whole side is individual areas but all merged? Because we could be very much looking at Motion Gate in Dubai doing that kind of thing, because the Ghostbusters Firehouse literally is a road in front of it, and you walk up to the gift shop, you walk up to everything, and you're on the road, and you go to a Green Lantern roller coaster, then you go to another ride, and you go to another ride. So we are going to pack as many rides in here as possible. Loop coaster, obviously. We've got the Ghostbuster Firehouse, obviously. The Harry Potter is coming in here, just because I think it deserves to be all put together, because I have got the opportunity to do that, and not many people do. We were going to put it underneath, and I've decided that the bottom shelf is going to be the Harry Potter at Christmas, and then above it and wrapping around it when the Winter Village stuff comes back is where all of that Winter Village stuff's going to go. Diner is going to come up into this display as well, because, well, I think it would look great next to the Daily Bugle. The next thing is to think of is, how do I do it? Jay has his as a grid system, but loses 15 studs everywhere, but uses it as a diorama, so doesn't lose the space, uses it with those bits and pieces. I could be different and pair bits and pieces up, so we've got 2 base plates, gap, whatever, so we could have Daily Bugle next door to the diner for the height. It's those sorts of things that we're going to think of, and then we are literally going to try it as a system like this, where we can have it as a walk around, or we can have it as cars, and see how much space it starts to take up, see what space we've got left, and then just basically hope for the best, because this literally got sort of decided ages and ages and ages ago, and I don't think I've given myself the opportunity to make it. It's just too tight. So now the Harry Potter stuff's gone, we've basically freed up this side, so we've gained 1, 2, 3, 4, all these base plates, and obviously this is going to be on its own stand. So I think we're going to start back to front. We're going to start with this set, and then we're going to make all the bits and pieces fit. Now, I don't know if I am going to keep it with Marvel into DC into bits and pieces, or I should just mash it all up. I think a mash-up might look a little bit cleaner, because in the Ghostbuster Firehouse would look pretty cool with them just having its own battle on the roof, and you could interlink everything. So you could, on the Ghostbuster Firehouse, for example, have, I don't know, the Death Eaters from Harry Potter being blasted by the proton packs, which have the bits and pieces going around from Marvel. We can do those sorts of really crazy dioramas, but we're going to have 3 tracks over here. And the other reason why I'm doing this, in case you think I'm mental, is I think there's going to be another amusement ride coming next year. And I'm assuming it's going to be another coaster, because we've had 2 coasters now, or it's going to be a drop tower. So it's going to go on here. So we'll be leaving space for that kind of thing as well. But I've just got to plan it, and we'll see what we can do in the next sort of 90 minutes with you for the first part, and then we'll see what we can achieve from there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move these boxes, just move some bits and pieces off camera so we've got a bit more breathing space on here, because like I said, this is the stuff from the live. You're now up to date with exactly what we're going to be going on. Base plates are down. We've got other colours that we can put down as well. And then we can just figure out, say, for example, do we want the Statue of Liberty for the first ever time in the middle on 4 base plates? And then we have the Sandman wrapped around it, and there's a huge battle overlooked by the Daily Bugle, and then the diner's just beside it, and there's like a walkway path road around that kind of thing. Or is that just taking it too far? So we'll think about that over the next hour and a bit. And then hopefully this will daisy chain nicely into 2-3 parts, get everything set. And obviously then, when these rows starts going down, we can start making the diorama straight away, because that's the difference, because I'm not connecting it with paths. It's literally going to be a case of pick that up, put that down, and then just rejig the roads as we go. So a little bit of space has been made, and I'm currently scratching my head, as per normal, with regards to which way I should start. I'm going to get the Harry Potter on the track with the dragon in this upload, and then I think we'll basically figure out which it would look best to pair it up with, because I kind of think it might look quite nice having the Harry Potter, the Ghostbuster Firehouse, and then the X-Men kind of in a line with a little bit of a gap between each, so they can kind of just battle each other. Does that make sense? Because it's supposed to be a theme park thing, and it kind of makes sense that because the Gringotts Bank is obviously with the actual, is a ride. And then we've got a ride with the Ghostbusters Firehouse, and then you've got the meet and greet of the X-Men team and all of that kind of thing with the Doctor Doom, and it's a huge thing, obviously, in at Universal Studios for the Marvel. Loop Coaster stays where it is. So if I said we'll start like left to right and we go through, but I am tempted to rip up this track first and just start spacing these 3 with the diner, because the easy thing for me to do is literally put the Daily Bugle just here, and that would look good. Space it out by the 15 base plates, put all the other little bits and pieces around it, and then I'm stuffed with what goes behind the Daily Bugle, because I've got the problem with the ceiling height. So I don't want it directly behind each other. I need the rows to be stepped and staggered by 8, maybe 15 studs if we're going to be doing that kind of thing. So yeah, it's just kind of figuring out where the best thing is to go, and then of course what are we doing with the DC bits and pieces, because there's Arkham to think of, there's the Joker to think of. What do I do with the shadow box? Do I build the shadow box up and keep it under the Batman artwork, which I think would look nice, and then we have the Winter Village around it? It's not that deep, so if there's potential that you could go right at the back. But if you did that, then I'm going to have to leave it all open. It's very, very, very long. So, and if the shadow box came in, I don't think there'd be space for another roller coaster. But with me doing all of this, what I have the opportunity of doing is bringing it in by a base plate and actually putting the roller coaster basically where these 3 are, if that is what it's going to be. So yeah, there's a lot of sort of thinking and doing, and just the best way to start with things. And of course what I also need to do is just work out how tall this thing is for how far forward this is going to be. The nice thing is, because it's higher, you see through the track, so whatever goes behind it wouldn't be too much of a problem. I could put the Joker, I like the Joker Manor angled, but we could have the Joker Manor at the back and then Arkham in front of it, and we have like an L shape around it that way. That comes over, and then obviously all of this will just be the Marvel-y type display stuff, and then we'll have lots and lots of base plates of space. So that is the plan. I want everything to breathe, and I want to be able to see everything. And then yeah, there's an option of what I'm thinking with the track. We sort of start the curve much earlier, and then it just buggers off back that way if we can. So we sort of have a dead end of the track off from here, because we have got these pieces, so like how it does here, it goes to nowhere, but this actually cuts round and we actually make a loop back into itself, so we have a smaller track and 2 dead ends to nowhere, and we just condense that track down a little bit. So I think what we're going to have to try and do to start with is just Because the problem is a perfect grid system, this doesn't work because I've got 1.5 going forward, I've got 1.5 going to the side, I've got 2 going to the side, I've got 1 forward, I've got a circular shape, I've got a long shape and a narrow sticky bit with the roller coaster track, and I've got a really awkward shape with the Harry Potter thing. So it doesn't work with it being a purpose-built thing, like an area. But at the same time, I think there is stuff that we can do, but all of this track is going to have to come up for now, and then it'll be relocated and reused. But again, it's going to allow us to use all of these cars. It'll allow us to use the Batmobile, so even if we don't have the shadow box out and about, we can then still have all the cars on display. And it's just going to be, like I said, a long project like we did with the Star Wars, and that kind of came out to be okay. So we can do the same thing with this. This track is going to be used, and I can use it in the Winter Village display as well, so that's not a problem at all. So it'll all be neat and tidy soon enough, which is good. So yeah, we haven't moved to the Daily Bugle for what, 7-8 months, which is not too bad. So let me just set you up in a bit of a better place so I'm not going to get in your way, and then we can actually start moving. Right, you are on a teeny tiny little stand, which I can then put you up over here, and you'll be out the way as such, and then hopefully I don't knock you. So the plan of this, obviously, is to get all these minifigures out that I have. I've got more minifigures for the Marvel DC stuff than anything else, and they're all in bags, and I can't display them properly. And some of the minifigures that are coming in January of 2026 do look very, very good indeed. And then I've got to make the decision of, do I get the little Oscorp, the little Daily Bugle, and get all those minifigures, yada, 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 yada. So I am not 100% sure. So I think the first thing we are going to do is we're going to work forward to backwards. So we have a full base plate just to the left-hand side. Like I said, this is going to be a very, very, very rough template in this upload, and then we'll start to fine-tune it. So base plate, 15 by 15. Sorry, 16 by 32. What the hell am I on about? 16 by 32. Let's get those bits off. So that is the road. That's what we're going to be messing around with. From there, the clear thing that needs to go at the front would be the X-Men mansion, which would look nice coming at the front. So there is, should be, mathematically, half a base plate on there. However, I haven't pushed all these all the way back because of the overhang that we've got. So I can come back a couple of studs. So this is why it's going to take a little bit of fiddling, sorting, and whatever else. So I need to get a colour together so we can actually see what I'm trying to achieve. What I'm trying to achieve on the front with this set. Because if I do a thing that's grey, we're not really going to be able to see it. So we will have a base plate there. You can see where I've clipped all of these together. So let's just get this template in super, super rough. Do the same thing for the Harry Potter. So you can see the space that we've got given now. So potentially there is an opportunity for the Joker Manor to stay as it is. And we just put that in front. This was going to be where Arkham Asylum was going to go, so I could obviously now just move this right over and have all of this at the front, because you can see through this and see over this very, very clearly. I also now have got the opportunity to spin this around, because I say this every single time. The back of this set is just as nice as the front. So we could go for a wall effect, we could go for an angle, we can obviously raise it up nice and high, and then we can basically go from there. So what we are going to do is I'm going to find a little, there's one. I'm going to find some row plates, turn them upside down because they'll be a different colour. And that gives us just what we need to start with. So I've got plenty of plates that I can do all of this kind of thing with. So that is just there, going to be the X-Men mansion. Now, do I then put a road directly behind it? And do I put a road beside it? Do we do that? And is this the divider? And then it goes into the next section. So we have the road going all the way through. So it comes up, round, down, because that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So we could have a road, but you can see now straight away that's a whole base plate plus the bit that's lost, but we are trying to get these to breathe. Now we're gonna if we have a road behind it, obviously we are a base plate and a half. This will now allow me to step or stagger it one way or the other if I wanted it to. The issue that we're going to have is when we get to the Daily Bugle. So what we will do is, it looks like this line is roughly where that base plate is going to end up. So I need to pick up this, spin it round and put it there. Now, if I can put the Daily Bugle up, I am very, very, very happy to sacrifice the Doctor Strange, because that I think could just go at the back next to, as a pair, the Ghostbuster Firehouse, and I wouldn't put a road around that. I wouldn't carry on with the roads all the way to the back. We'll just have like a strip potentially going at the back, because I can't reach it for displays. I think it's going to be a little bit too small anyway. So if I'm saying I'm happy of doing that, let's just pick this up and move it, move the Daily Bugle, and then put the diner in that place. Again, just throwing it in just to see what all of that looks like. And then yeah, we can see. So I'm just taking a little bit of a step back and just making sure that this is good. I'm also going to be taking photos, because it's going to annoy me as we go through. If it all goes wrong, you'll never see this, and I'll just put it back. All right. Okay. So let's drag this out. Now, like I said, if we are going to be getting the smaller sets, well, we have then got that discussion to happen, because I could, oh dear, I could, don't you dare. Oh, here we go. It started already. I don't even know you can see what I'm doing. Just rip the roof off. We could potentially squeeze them all in over maybe just 2 base plates and just have it as a shop area, toilet block, anything that you think would work as a theme park bit. I do like the look of the new Daily Bugle. I do like the look of some of the new Marvel sets. I think they do look smart. So yeah, all about the breathing space for this one. And do I have them facing the other way as well? Do we do something completely different and be able to make up these nice dioramas? So that has got the potential to be sacrificed. Which, to be honest, obviously base plates go down. Doesn't look too bad putting those two side by side with the battles and bits and pieces up on the roof. That thing in the corner does look a little bit odd, so we will we'll figure that out as we go. But I don't really think I could pick that up and put that over. This could maybe go to the other side, so we've got more of the block buildings, but it is the Statue of Liberty, so, and it's been taken over by the Sandman, hasn't it? Now, do we go extreme or little with regards to this? Because we could go like that, and instantly we have that sort of city feel with those two. Granted, we then have the ability to open it up and put the things round, but it does not give us the ability to put another 32 by 32 in. So the next 32 by 32 that goes in, it's getting very, very complicated with the bits and pieces that are down, would be there, wouldn't it? So we have what I'm going to do, because this is just silly, take these up. Take all of that up, take it all up, all up, all up, all up. You've got a clean edge now, and we can, and everything that goes down now is to do with everything. So there's the road. That is Sandy. That is the X-Men mansion. Simple and as easy as that. That's your block. Is that the diner? And then now you can see what I mean about we then have the ability to step it round, put something else in front, or do I bring that right over? Now, to be fair, those two buildings like that don't look too bad, but we are losing quite a bit of space. Now, if this will, I keep picking you up, just leave you alone. There you go, so I wasn't going to mess around, and there we are. So, don't think they look horrendous, but at the same time, I don't know if the spacing is going to work. So if that was brought forward for the whole base plate argument of it being to there, that actually would then be in line. That would be in line then with the roads. But obviously bringing that in, you have this going in front. But I could be cheeky and leave the path going between. This is the thing I'm not too sure. I can't make it out to be as perfect as I want to, because we don't have perfect 32 by 32s. It's not going to be that way. But I understand me bringing in the Daily Bugle and doing this, we've lost a whole base plate of space. But as that stands, they can't really get any closer anyway. So do I just do a little road around here and around just the two big ones, and maybe go for more of a diorama-y type thing? And then does it split off into like narrower paths, and then somewhere I would leave a bigger gap like so, and then have a smaller gap like that? Do I put two things side by side just on that bit? Yeah, that's the thing I need to think about. And of course, as we wrap it around, we've then obviously got the steps and staggers of the display space around here. So this very much could just be a four-way display round, and again, that doesn't look too bad from there either. I think that looks quite smart, looks quite clean. So maybe I focus on the road of the 32, because I'm sure I've got base plates absolutely everywhere. That is got to be 15. It is. So we are okay with regards to a road look going all the way around behind the Daily Bugle with a battle up and around, and that's just your path. That's where we put the cars, that's where we put the taxi, that's where we put all the other little bits and pieces. And I said we've lost it for a building space, but we've gained all of those base plates for display, which, to be fair, I actually quite like the look of. And I do quite like the fact if I could carry on with that all the way down, we could have the two base plates side by side at the end, and we could have all the Marvel-y type stuff. Or again, if we had another tall building which was to the height of the Daily Bugle sign, I could actually go 32 more studs back, because obviously the slope of the roof, so it would need to step. But I think that actually is the way. God damn, I am moving you a lot. I think that's actually the way to go with the road. So I'm moving all the base plates I said I wasn't going to do now, but I think we have a wraparound road, because again, it just happens to be, look, that is exactly 16 by 16 of space behind it as well. So we would get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 16 by 16s wrapped around that as a nice road. And then we've got this 32 by 32, which does actually give us the ability, if we wanted, to go half and half. We could step that over, so it's less space out the front than it opens up. So that then brings us back in line here, or we are off by a couple of studs with regards to that, because that's obviously where the X-Men is going to be. And then it is a case of, do I then just carry on with the paths? Because then the footpaths, which is just these things, would take you around the rest of everything. So I think if we can get the vehicles over, I've got to do it from a space perspective as well. I want it to be breathing, and I want some vehicles in. So I don't know if that goes up, comes across, comes down, this moves over by 16 base plates, and we have it completely wrapped around the Daily Bugle, or the next one starts there. So let's put the diner there now, and then what I can do is I can think about that and then mess around with it later on once we've got the bank in place. The Statue of Liberty looks like it's got so much more breathing space around there as well, because they're big things. So I could easily make some nice dioramas with all of those. Yeah, I think that's what we're going to be doing for around Daily Bugle, especially for all of the minifigures, the vehicles, any of the bits and pieces that come out like that. So that will work well. But does the diner fit there? So what I am just doing now is I'm grabbing the last modular that I didn't move from the last upload, and this also would allow us potentially to bring back the diner's car, which has been hiding for a year or so. There we go. That was a deep squat, that was. An head rush. So it just happens to be that this is on a tan base plate anyway. So plonk that one down. Slide this. Oh, don't you dare fall off the front. No. Don't start falling apart. No, no, no. Right. Oh, absolutely. Look at that. That's beautiful. That's what we want. Just a bit of a breather. Just between. So I have to have the roads for this whole thing sticking out, because I can't bring that any closer than that, so that would just be silly. But no, we can stick to this, because that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Nice and awkward. So should have done 8. So I'll redo all of that and do it as 8 rather than 7. So that way it's obviously half of 16, which would have just made more sense. And then that'll give us the ability to then do it. Otherwise we're always going to be off by a couple of studs at the other end. But because of what we could do here, and if we brought those over, they would be stepped over. Obviously the only thing is do we step the diner back? So it's, knew that was going to happen. Do we step it back like that? Do we step it right far back? Do we have it close? Because the path behind it, we've got basically half a base plate to do something with. So I guess what we can do is push the diner or leave the diner. Let's get this set again. So that is there. That's the road. That comes straight off if we're going to do it like that. That's where it's coming to. So we are off on that bit. So we're stepped, because I want it to all be sort of stepped and staggered. I can't make it look like a proper grid. It needs to be off, because obviously it's all different sizes and shapes. And I understand that this is going to be a right royal pain in the backside, that I'm going to have to take all the tiles off when something else comes in. But it is what it is, isn't it? So if this was... The question is I think that would work in line with, which then would leave the 16 by 16 going back across here. So that's your 16, that's your 16 space. But the problem I've then got is what carries on behind it. So there is a possibility that if we come around here and we utilize all viewing points, as I start walking down the loft ladder's face first, which is always nice and sketchy. Something goes crunch, it's just my face. Yeah, there is a possibility, look, that we could have it facing towards the camera this way, behind the diner, and you see it from here, because obviously, well, there's going to be nothing there. So if I go back and grab that, we can see what is going on, and then we figure out what's occurring, because it does give the ability to go that way. So if we went to there, yeah, you have actually got ability to make like a hidden display behind it, and that is facing that way, and it's kind of keeping it towards what display we're going to be putting just there, and then we have something at the back. I think we did it the other way. Obviously we'll just put the Ecto 1 there. But I think, from a theme park perspective, it looks a little bit odd from this side, but I think from what you're looking at, it looks quite nice, because you would just have to look around for the different stuff. So from here, it looks worse, obviously, but from where you were, I don't think that's too bad, because that's the view that you're going to get. So, and at least that way you get to see both back. You see the back, you can see the side and the front, and then behind it we've got 15 studs for something. We can make like a hidden display from there, and then we've still got 15 studs as a road coming through. So we could keep that little path in and just mix and match it up so it looks like it's a little alleyway. And then we could probably start the path maybe on this side, but again, having those like so, with the X-Men in front, yeah, I could see that. And then after that gives us the opportunity, do I pick up the Statue of Liberty, throw it in that corner behind this, and then that's just future expansion for whatever. Does the Joker Manor go back into that corner, because it would fit in that corner, which then frees up all of this space, which then we could just put Arkham very, very close to the X-Men mansion, because I think that would need to be seen. But we have got the ability then of having like the Sandman and all that kind of stuff, with Strange battling it out and then wrapping it around back as the diorama. I think what I would do is actually I'd move the eyeball and put the eyeball in that bit and swap those two over, because I think that hole looks a little bit weird. But if we got the eyeball sticking out, I think that would look a lot cleaner and a lot better. But that's probably as much space as I'd want to give, because if this is coming out of base plate and a half, if we wanted to, I think we could wrap the road around those so it's in line with this, or the road stops there and then we just put two side by side. Obviously, we put a base plate in, it gives us breathing space for the Ghostbuster Firehouse, and then we have these two fully roaded, basically up, round, zigzags back, and you can just cut through, which is basically like a side alley, isn't it? That's what that extension is. And yeah, just got to figure out if we are going to go another modular next to the diner, or we put a bit of road in. So I'm going to let you guys and girls let me know. The annoying thing is that I don't think that I can chop and change it, but a lot of this will be already uploaded. Sorry, a lot of this will have been done by the time this video is uploaded, which is what it is, I'm afraid. So I'm gonna sort some other bits and pieces out. I need some food, drink, and all that kind of nonsense. Then all we're gonna do to finish this upload is get the Gringotts on its track with the dragon back on, and then we can work out exactly how tall it is, because again, depending on how tall it is, we could put that in the corner and have that with the mythical, and so all of that's close together, which then means it's a whole new problem for the Unchained Coffee. But yeah, we'll see, because I think already what I'm going to have to try and do is those 3 base plates, which is technically almost 6 base plates, I would leave for another coaster or another something, as long as it's that tall. If it's taller than that, then that would go over there, because I think that would fit there, and then the other one can go there if it's going to be a coaster. If it's not, it doesn't really matter, and it can just, if it's just on a 32 by 32 base plate, it can be plonked straight in the middle. So yeah, fun and games to be had. But we'll get the template done, get that on next, wrap it up, and then I'll carry on either later on today or tomorrow, depending on how intrigued I get with this. And I've really got to make the decision of what I'm doing with the Statue of Liberty before I obviously put all the grey base plates down and then start to put all the road plates down. Actually, no, I can get to it if I move the T-Rex, so that's not too much of a problem. But does it wrap around? Or do I just leave the Jurassic Park as a separate thing? So we are a few hours on the same day. Not that makes a difference, but it's just sort of a stamp so you know where we're at. So I have moved, what did I move? I moved the Miles Morales' little Huge Fly What's It. So what I've done is, because I want to try and get stuff in from all angles, I've actually put this facing forward as you first come in, because I think what I will be able to do, if I did want to get the rest of these, they could just go off and shoot off that way, and they could sit on top of the road plates that I'd make, and then if I ever needed to move them, I can just replace it with a car. But because these are all so narrow, it doesn't take up that much space, so I can, because it's 8 studs, I'd have an 8 stud road, and obviously we can do the little bits and pieces. So if we were to do that, I've got the option, but for now, obviously, we can just keep it as the vehicles, and then over the next couple of parts, just basically figure out what cars are going to go in, what Batmobiles and things are going to go in, and then get all the actual base plates down and slide them. And then I will actually start doing some dioramas probably in part 3. So this, we just need to place the Harry Potter so I can think about it, figure out exactly where it is. Then the second part, I think, is just going to be getting all of the base plates down, getting like the road plates in and all that kind of thing. And then it's just getting the bags of minifigures out at last, and then we can actually really attack this area. But the more I look at that, and all I did, like I said, was just turn it round, I think it does look rather smart. And like I said, it just allows me to, if I wanted to now, the diner car can go there. I have got the blue giveaway, if you remember the one with the surfboards around the side. We have got this that we can add in, which is obviously Ant-Man's vehicle. We have got options of doing stuff behind that bit as well. I'm not 100% sure where that's going to end up yet, so I'm not too sure what's going on with that. I still don't know what's going on with this, and Pumpkin has come in to say hello, so she's realised that there's a little bit more space in here now, so she's going to make the advantage of that. So just for the sake of ceiling height, we're going to move this thing just out the way. So we're going to bring that over, and then what we will do is then just build up Gringotts Bank again, or Gringotts Bank, because I built it properly, and the sticker is possibly the worst sticker of anything I've seen with regards to how bad that actually looks. Everybody cut theirs, and I thought, no, I am not doing that. And yeah, we're at where we're at with regards to it. But these little bits and pieces, they all just need repairing. Like the tracking things are hanging off and hanging on for dear life. So yeah, we just want to see what's going on with these, and I can build them up on the actual lives. So like I said, I can either just start building them up over December, which potentially I think I might do, but that's a different time and a different worry. So you see? No, probably not. Let's get you up on there. I'm looking through. Yeah, you can see that. So we need the stand. Pumpkin's down there. Look at her. She'll find any space. She's like, oh, as soon as there's a little bit of space, in she goes, and she's off. So she'll be having a lovely time. And then when there's more floor space back, she'll be living the dream. So we have got the dragon that's going to go on top. Well, that's the second I realised that I wanted this back over here. The second I can't put the dragon on top, it wasn't good enough for me, because I know the wings floppy. Because obviously, if you've seen any of the theme park videos, or you've seen anything, that is a extremely important piece, and I can't just randomly have that on the floor. So like I said, we're going to have the little Harry Potter, I say little, it's not, the Diagon Alley is going to work well with the Winter Village bits. There's the big bone, so we've got a big bone and some other little bits, and I said bone, by the way. So you've got all these bits of detail on here. So yeah, that goes up on top. That's really annoying, because you know what I've moved. I did it the other day. Where the hell are they? Ah, that's all right. That's all right. I wasn't too stupid. I left them close. See, might look messy, but it's not. It's just broken pieces of me doing this for, well, being a twonk. And these 4 pieces are extremely important, because these are the ones that stop it from falling off. So we've got 3 L-shaped bits, and then the base plate just sits on it. So this will add a huge amount of height over to this side as well. And then what I will do is I'll make the diorama up with, where's it going there? The diorama up top with regards to the actual bank. Look at it. It is just outrageous when you put all 3 of them on top of each other, because the amount of detail that's over all of this, and obviously if you haven't put yours on the track, I completely understand why, because, well, it's a pain in the ass. But I've never displayed it like that, ever. Because when we got the stands, we did it with the Joker Manor, then we did it with something else, and we did it with something else, and yada, 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 yada. Yeah, it has to be. It has to be like this. The only other thing I'd love to do is get one more stand one day and have the alleyway going into the bank. But you know full well I'd do that, and well, they would release more from the alleyway, wouldn't they? So just as I basically get this, see, perfect another row plate there. So I've got plenty of them. I've had this idea for yonks and we tried it, didn't work, it worked, it didn't work. So there's all the parts of the loop coaster that I'm blaming all of you 100% for knocking over. So all of that needs to be repaired for this. I can't believe how bad that roller coaster got damaged. that will go over to that side. So I don't need to go back too far, but at the same time, far enough. So that could be like that for now. No, not near the roof. It's got breathing space around, and we could put whatever we want in front of that. And it doesn't even matter if we're going to put the Joker Man in there, we could do anything. This is going to be a problem. This might have to go on the chopping block. The actual minifigures won't. I'll keep all of those out, especially Jay's favourite minifigure. Well, look at it. So we'll put him up there, and this is what I'll start doing with these little bits and pieces. But yeah, this is what I mean about when we get to this part, it will open up. I could bring this forward. I think I'd keep it at that angle just because it's quite cool just to see it. As you step around, it sort of changes ever so slightly. If I picked it up and spun it around, you wouldn't really see everything. And again, if we come from this side, when that loop coaster is all built up neat and tidy, it's not gonna do anything bad. Here obviously could be now a little Ferris wheel or other little bits and pieces like that, but we still have just at the front 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 base plates, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 with nothing on. That'll be 13, 14, 15 base plates of space still. And of course, like I said, if I could pretty much get away with whatever I wanted going behind this, I would probably, obviously I can't do the loop coaster because it's too big, so that can just stay there for now. Those 6 base plates, I might put some construction crews or something there. I don't know. I don't know what it could be at the moment, but I think that is what I wanted to achieve within this upload. Now, I don't know how long this has taken. It's probably taken me a little bit quicker than normal, but I will carry on. But the second phase is going to be a lot longer, I think, with regards to getting the rest of the base plates down, placing the Joker Manor as well. Maybe what I'll do is I'll have a think of this, and we won't end it just yet. We'll get the Joker Manor angled first. Might do that in a second. As you can see, I've got all the minifigures here and I need to get the track and things up, but we are, I mean, you've got, you go there, you go there, you go there, you can go there. See, a little hot dog stand can go over this way. Your Spider, Spidey, X-Men, Spidey. You're in the cantina. So that's that basically sorted and organised, and it's the same thing for all of these. That is going to be stripped for parts. I don't need this now at all. That's the Ahsoka thing, so that can bugger off. So yeah, a little bit tidy. I think what I'll do, give it a bit of a tidy up in the middle. We will use this car just because obviously it's a theme from a theme parky perspective, so we can just have that as well. I won't get anything else. I could have the car flying though, just really randomly. I could have the car up on the roof, or just get on the, just have it up high and it can just be flying around. But I think this has to go, because I might need the space. If I can bring this back this way, I could put that in the far corner maybe, and it's just sort of hidden out the way. But yeah, I've got to decide what I'm going to do with spacing of those and where this is going to go. And if I can't make my mind up soon, I have to start editing this video together because of the time frame, and then we'll decide where that's going to go in the next part. But for now, I'm done, and I'll catch back up with you tomorrow or in 5 minutes. So 2 minutes later, we are back at it. Literally 2 minutes later, I stopped. I was like, what am I doing? Why don't I just put this in the right place and we can just end it, and then I can do the next bit tomorrow and just think about it. So I know I've got to fix a loop coaster. That's going to be fixed on the live stream. We know that I'm going to have to move that anyway, so the live stream will probably happen before I film this next bit anyway. All the bits and pieces in the middle, are the minifigures and stuff that's going to go out. So all of that's got to actually come off this, but I can't put it where I need to put it because I want to do a live stream in a little bit. So this is the problem I've got with the space. If I could just pick that up and put that here, and then obviously I could just make it all neat and tidy. So I think what I'm going to do is just move the Joker Manor over and give it a bit of a wiggle and kind of push the minifigures to start with. And because I'm not going to, so if I put those in the correct place there, that's all those minifigures that can get sorted out on a later bit. The Flash, the Joker, Spider-Pig, they can all go over. And we can do a little bit of Bruce as well. All of these can just go in. That's one of the nicest Joker minifigures ever made. That's from the UCS tumbler, so that can go in there. This is just a bag of random figures that can come with me. Some more bits and pieces I can use for diodes. There's some spare pieces on that. That's another bag of minifigures, so those two you can source out later. And then these are the size of the vehicles that I've got to think of in the next video or the video after. And then, like I said, we're going to try and figure out what we're going to do with the track, because I could, I don't know, again, you might as well say it in this part, I could just, I'll tell you what, that wouldn't look too bad. If we put Arkham round here, we could have Arkham, because it's an inverted corner, and you have the track going right round Arkham, right round this, and it reconnects over that side, or it just stops. And it's just a derelict track, so it's not a full linked track. So if we had a bit of track, we kept a bit of track here, so this bit comes off. This bit comes off. If we were to have Arkham on this base plate, for example, we could have this track going round, and this is just a dead end, and it just looks like you're taking the track to Arkham City. I can say Arkham. Oh, it is Arkham. Sorry, I keep saying Gotham City. So yeah, the actual Arkham itself. But that now might not work with the size of this. So looking at this straight away, if I wanted to do a clean divide, the easiest thing for me to do is twist it. So it would actually go there. So because we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 base plates of space, and you can see what we've got just around on this bit. And all these minifigures are about to be put out, apart from a handful of them. All of these will go out. These pieces are going to be used for the row plates and things. But this needs a bit of TLC, which again we will do on one of the live streams, because it is, well, it was, minus 2 flags now, 100% complete. And I'm a bit miffed that this has got damaged, and it shouldn't have. So I want to go through this with a fine tooth comb. But that's probably the way it's going to have to go. Can come forward, and it will give this a little bit of breathing space. So again, if we go off our little base plater system, that's where the X-Men Mansion is going to finish. So this is kind of coming into our next zone, next section, where it would be around, here somewhere-ish. Now, I would either keep it like this and keep that between. It doesn't look too bad. It doesn't actually look too bad. It looks worse than what it is because it's just rubbish on the table. So I'm eyeballing over the top. So like that, for example, where you've got all of these bits and pieces all spread out, it's exactly how it should be. It just depends on if I put another modular beside this. If we just have the diner as a bit of an Easter egg to the shawarma and the Daily Bugle, and then we've got the bits and pieces of the X-Men Mansion in front, that's okay. If I wanted to put a representation in for Batman, I could put another modular in, but I think with what's going to happen over a longer period of time, it might be worth utilising 1, 2, 3, 4 for DC. And granted, I'm going to have to bring that forward ever so slightly. I have to sort of go forward and over, because you actually get onto this ride on its rear. And I am just hoping, I've got a bad feeling I took some of these pieces off for it to fit in a place that it shouldn't have gone. So I've got them in one of the spare heads. So we'll just have to make sure that all of this is fully complete. But yeah, that's the kind of concept. So it'll probably come over ever so slightly and back. So we would have, we still, as long as we've got the 16, see, this is why it looks worse than what it is. So as long as we've got the 16 base plates, 16 by 16 base plates behind here, which we have no problem, that's where the road's going to go. So the road's going to go there. X-Men Mansion is going to go to there. So obviously this needs to step forward ever so slightly. So we'll have, if I angled it maybe, or did something, but no, that works for me, so that's fine. So we've got these 4 base plates for something DC related. Keep that in the back corner because it's a monster and it's overseeing everything as it normally does, and it looks all right there. It goes with the angle of the roof. We know it's Batman related anyway, so that's okay. So yeah, that gives us room for the X-Men Mansion. That's where the land starts. In you go, wrap it round, off you go. So that is that kind of thing. And then we go into a little bit more of a funky sort of pattern. Because obviously this track is wide, so that's where the track sits. So I don't want that overhanging the table. So that was, oh yeah, hang on. I think we actually might be spot on. We are going to be spot on. That's very lucky. Very lucky, because that is to there. The back, which is going to be the road, would be where the step would be to this. And of course, because we're doing the alley on that side, we could just keep it as a big 16 and use the road plates as other little bits and pieces. And you can see that this won't hit this. It's literally to it. So yeah, it'd just be nice, tight and enclosed, and then over this bit would just be the road, and then we carry on from that bit. So this needs a good bit of TLC. The 2 pink flanks at the top, one's just pinged off. We've had other bits and pieces ping off for the actual track itself, and then the bits up here, with me doing stupid things like this, have come off, and I did put them somewhere, and I'm annoyed with myself. But the back of this is incredible. So I know some people don't like open back sets, but it's a ride, because did you know, I bet you guys and girls didn't, there's a slide in here. So there's the slide. So you can actually get in, go around, do some little bits and pieces, and you are away, and you can have a little bit of fun with all of these little bits and pieces. So it's a fun fair within itself. So just this one thing, this whole thing is a ride. You've got the roller coaster, you've got the slides, you've got all sorts of little bits and pieces, and now I can actually set up, which is even better. Can you see all the mirroring system that is in there? So I can have a load of jokers and all the other little bits and pieces and just get the rest of those Technic bits covered. And that is where that is going to live. And of course then it gives me plenty of expansion for if it needs to come over a full whacker base plate, so it shrinks this down and we just have one thing there for one thing there, and then we have something else big just here. So maybe Oscorp, for example, we could do that. So yeah, that gives us plenty of expansion for a long time to come, but it also allows me to just crack on with these dioramas, gives me the space for the 2 sets that I know I need to backtrack, and I can just really utilise this set much better. This thing honestly is just incredible with regards to the moving pieces, with the boxing gloves on the Technic pins, and there's so much to it. that it's just been criminal that I haven't done what I should have done with this. Like I said, then got that bit in front, you've got that bit up top, you could have something else lower down on here, so that could be a completely different theme, and then those 6 are going to be for a future roller coaster. If it's a drop tower, I can't imagine the drop tower being any taller than this. The drop tower will just go directly beside it. We have all of the DC things that comes over depending on what happens over a long period of time. And then we've still got 6 base plates. If I wanted to move that red coaster over and just fill this whole section up, if we came up with a different scenario for that. So I think that's it and I'm done. So I'm going to sleep on that, think about it, look at it with a good set of eyes, tight set of eyes, speak to the design consultant as well, who is Mr. J's Toy Collection UK, because, well, me and him bounce ideas around all the time, but you can see now I've got the opportunity to do the ha stuff on this side, and yeah, very, very happy with that placement. So this, I think, is going to have to go. This could get pulled over. Might not be doing any harm for now, but I think it might not kind of work with the DC bits and pieces, but we'll worry about it in the next couple of uploads. So if you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, that would be absolutely fantastic. Template is in, so the next upload, base plates down, row plates down, fine tune this, and then for the next couple of uploads after that will just be like 20-minute uploads where we do a diorama around the Joker Manor, do a diorama around that, do a diorama around that, and so on and so forth. And I will be doing what I can to find the steps that I've been moving around for nearly 3 months, which is literally the step ladders that comes off this, so you can get on the actual thing, and I can now put this on the base plate for the first time and create a path into there for the House of Mirrors. So that'll just be its own upload, and I'm rather excited about that. So he says, I just hope it fits with this. I'm sure it will do. I'm sure that'll be absolutely fine with this going down and that going there, and this can actually go back a couple of studs. So yeah, we've done a thing. So one more time, if you like the video and subscribe to the channel, that'd be absolutely fantastic. But as always, thank you very much for watching. You lot take care and I'll catch you next.